I would first of all like to begin by telling you how this title came about. Being strong when things fall apart. This title didn't come around during the GE15. The wise ones, like the solid rock, didn't move, didn't vote. But it's further than that. This line, being strong when things fall apart, actually encapsulates the whole teaching of the Buddha entirely. When we talk about Buddhism for 2,600 years, this is Buddhism's contribution to humanity. How to stay unmoved when there is problems. Okay, we'll go around and see why the Buddha came up with this idea. And it begins with, Selo yata ekagano vatena na samirati. Evan ninda pasamsasu na saminjanti pandita. Now, I was afraid, having said that, half of you will run away. This is not for me. Buddhism is too difficult to understand. But it's okay, we lock the door. What does it mean? In English, this is what it means. As a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, even so the wise are not ruffled by praise or blame. And immediately when I say that, the picture of a lotus comes to mind. And when you think Buddhism, you think lotus. And when you think of a lotus, it's all the same thing. What is the significance of the lotus? It grows in the mud, filthy, stinking, black mud. But while it gets its nourishment from there, the lotus rises above the water, pure and perfect. It remove the mud, the lotus goes. But while we are living in samsara, see, I'm trying to get across to you the whole aspect of why are we Buddhists different from any other religion? That's basically what I want to tell you. All right. When you call yourself a Buddhist, what is Buddhism what does Buddhism give that you don't find in the other religion? That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay. And it comes with this lotus. While there is all this problem, where is the wind? You remain above. And there's a reason for that also, as we shall see in a minute. Okay. That was one line. One line earlier was about the solid rock is not moved by the wind. Staying firm when things go wrong around you. Next one. Yatinda kilo patavim sitosia chatubbivatehi asam kapakampio. Tatu pamang sappurisam vadami yo arya saccani avecca passati. Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena sacca suati hotu. Why did I say it in Pali? Let me rephrase that. Why did I mispronounce this in Pali? If a monk heard me, he'll die. but this comes from the Buddha himself. I remember when we went on a pilgrimage many years ago, we went to the spot where the Buddha said these verses. And very quickly, this is from the Ratana Sutra, where the city that the Buddha was living nearby was attacked by a plague. And people were dying. And it was very, very bad situation. And the Buddha taught this to Venerable Ananda and told Venerable Ananda, go around the city, and recite this. And when Venerable Ananda had done that, the rain came and everything was cleared. And the plague was driven away. Okay, but what is important to see is that just as a firm post, sunk deep into the ground, cannot be shaken by the four winds, north, south, east, west. If you put it in the ground, it won't move. Just like that, I say that a righteous person, this is also very important. In Buddhism, you don't simply pray, pray, pray and expect everything to work for you. And then you say, Buddha never helped me. You must do your part. The wise, the virtuous. You do your part, the Dhamma works for you. But don't expect to do everything and then expect just by prayer. This is another thing about Buddhism. Your contribution is half. The other half, it works for you. Okay? I say that a righteous person who thoroughly perceives the Four Noble Truths is similar to that. If you are similar to this thing, nothing can shake you. We have, Reverend Mahinda taught us that wherever you go, whenever, all the time, there's a little mantra that you should recite. And that mantra is, I forgot the mantra. A reminder, where are you? It'll come. Okay? Dhammo have rakati dhammacharim. Those who live by the Dhamma will be protected by the Dhamma. It does not mean just because you pray, your cancer will go away. That's not it. All right? The Dhamma will teach you how to cope with that. That's again what my talk is all about. My talk is all about how to stay strong when things go wrong. Okay? Right. And it's all there. The pursuit of happiness. From the time, not from the time, from the time the humans, from the time sentient beings came about, that means millions of years ago, when we first started to think even, what we have always wanted was one word, happiness. Even today, that's all that you want, happiness. All right? And how do we get it? There are two ways in which we can get that happiness. All right? And that puts us back to how did religion begin? Go back. We believe that about 30, 40,000 years ago was about when religion began. When humans first were able to look around and ask three questions. Who am I? We call this the evolution of self-consciousness. Evolution of self-consciousness. So about 40,000 years ago, we moved away from animals. Animals don't worry about this. We do. That makes us human. All right? Homo sapiens. And that beginning of self-consciousness is when we first ask, who am I? Who am I? What am I doing here? Am I needed? Three very profound questions, and all the time it's at the back of your head. Who am I? Some religions will teach you, you are the son of God. Okay? And is that the final answer? Different religions were evolved to answer these three questions. Who am I? Many different answers. Buddhism also different. What am I doing here? What are you doing here? pusing macam anjing kejar ekor. Ya, akhirnya mati juga. By the way, that's bahasa, not Pali. Okay. Who am I? Then comes the next question, what am I doing here? Am I working to increase my bank balance? Am I working to evade tax? Is that my purpose in life? What are you doing here? Am I needed? Are you needed? If you die today, will people remember you? Don't go so far. Our late chief, he died 20 years ago. 20 years ago, everything, Dhammananda, all, and 50 years he has survived. He had contributed to Malaysian Buddhism, blah, 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 blah. Today, I have had young boys asking me, what is Dhammananda? Not who, no. What is Dhammananda? It's only 20 years. What about 17, 12, 9, 100? So what? What about you? What does it matter? Who are you? Are you needed? Okay, so these three questions, the answers to these three questions gave rise to all the religions in the world. All the religions in the world attempt to explain to you, I will come to the theocentric and homocentric. The theocentric religions, which are religions based on God, theo, okay, based on God, they say, who am I? You are a creature of God. Creature means you were created by God. What are you doing here? Pleasing God, making God happy. Are you needed? As long as God wants you. So all those religions gave this. Then there is another set of religions later, much later, who came about and said no. And also these ideas go back to India about the time of the Buddha. Yeah, these religions say no, you don't begin with God, you begin with man. Remember Confucius, he was asked, Confucius, the Chinese guy, sorry, Confucius was asked, Master, teach us to understand heaven. And Confucius, I don't know whether it's true or not, but Confucius is reputed to have answered, Master, teach us to understand heaven. Answer, why do you wish to understand heaven? Understand earth. Heaven knows how to look after itself. Don't waste your time asking about heaven. Heaven is busy with its own program. Yeah. You survive on earth. And that's one of the reasons why the Chinese have been so successful. They don't care about tsunamis. They don't care about it. It just happens all the time. They worry about survival here and now. Jatuh hari ini, besok bangun. You see? So, those and Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism all say, don't worry about heaven. That's an afterthought. What you need is today. Who are you? What is your position now? What are you doing here now in the 21st century? Okay, so these two religions both evolved from the same initial need to understand happiness. This also said, I do all of this because of happiness. This also because of happiness. Remember our topic, I haven't forgotten. Yeah? Sometimes that's a problem with old Dhamma speakers, she knows why I'm very reluctant to give Dhamma talks anymore. And I don't allow my wife to come because she sits at the back and she goes like, then I said, why you disturb me? I never disturb you. Okay, but anyway, go back to the pursuit of happiness. All right? And two ways in which. The theocentric view, we can go fast to this, events occur according to the will of God, and they escape through faith. Faith meaning that I don't know whether this is work or not, I don't know whether it is there or not, but never mind, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. So faith, all right? Whether whatever you look at doesn't seem to tally with reality, he said, never mind, I will put my faith in God. All right? And how is this faith expressed? By prayer, mostly by prayer. We do express a lot of faith. Yeah, all this offering the lights, flowers, and all of this are expressions of faith. Yeah, whether they really work or not, we can never tell. Okay, but that is the theocentric view. On the other hand, you have the Buddhist view. Theocentric faith, theocentric belief that everything is preordained by God. Why are you doing all this? Happiness. And what is happiness? Freedom from danger. When you are born, when we first started thinking about our condition as human beings, who am I, what am I doing here, am I needed? Well, all to answer this question, how can I escape from danger? What is the danger? Old age, disease, death. These things, can you, old age, disease, and death, can you escape from all of this? All the things that we pray for that don't happen, all the Bodhi pujas that we do and all that, is partly an expression of escaping, yeah, from danger. Now the Buddha comes along almost for the first time in history to say, hey, look, if you are born in this world, don't expect it to be anything else. It's buy one, free four. You are born, you grow old, you fall sick, you die. All this given to you for free. Okay, and you can't bargain about it. This is the way the cookie crumbles. This is what you're born into. And there's never been any other way. This is the way the cosmos. If there are beings in other worlds out there, they will be subjected to the same law. And that law is what we call Dhamma. This is before the Buddha. This is always been there. The Buddha only discovered the Dhamma. He didn't create the Dhamma. And having discovered, he said, those who wish to escape from danger say, you can run away. The Buddhists say, you cannot run away because this is it. This is it. This is the Dhamma. Dhamma means Dhar. Dhar means to hold up. What holds up the universe? What are the laws under which this universe operates? 1,000,000 years ago, today, 1,000,000 years from now, the same law will apply. In Chinese, we would say, this is the Tao. The Tao has no beginning, no middle, no end. The Tao is the Tao. That is the Dharma, that which upholds the universe. And the Buddha said, this is what you are born into. Don't try and escape from it. You cannot. You cannot escape old age. Yeah? You know the number of times I told my hair, don't fall? You know? So now that I've learned Buddhism, what I do, I say, you want to fall? Fall lah. Yeah? God made a few perfect heads. The rest he covered with hair. Okay? Right, it's a natural process. But very quickly, we are in denial. All the time, although we admit that this is so, that happiness cannot be attained in this life, which we call samsara. We cannot escape from it. We pretend that it is not so. We pretend that it can be there. We can we pretend that if we pray hard enough, things will be different. But time and time again, we know it is the same thing. Now that's what the Buddha alerts us to. And that's why it's the first noble truth. There is dukkha. What does dukkha mean? We always translate it as suffering, but it's much deeper than suffering. Yeah. Reverend Narada translates dukkha as contemptible emptiness. Beautiful translation. Contemptible. Every day we wake up. Every day we say it's going to be like this. And then at the end, before we go to bed, it wasn't like that. Yeah. We wake up, we grow, we do all this. At the end of the day, we say, buat apa? 50 years pusing macam anjing kejar ekor. Ya. Sebab apa? Belakang gatal. that it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And yet we're trying, we haven't got the answer. The Buddha gave us the answer, of course. All right? And we are in denial. Like there's a lovely little story that I like to share with you. With a Buddhist story. So don't deduct my payment. There was a man, he was walking through the jungle. And as he was walking through the jungle, he came to a well. Right? And just near the well, he heard a sound. He turned around. He saw a fierce wild elephant running. And the elephant saw him and started chasing. He ran, elephant ran, he ran, elephant ran. And when he came to the well, he decided, okay, I'm safe. So that well was like that. And then a vine, was hanging into the well. So he jumped and he caught hold of the vine. And he thought he was safe. The elephant couldn't come. Then he started shaking because when he jumped on it, he started shaking. He shook the trunk, one of the branches. When he shook one of the branches, he realized there was a beehive. There was a beehive. He didn't notice it before, but now he's swinging here, beehive getting shaken. And he looked down and he saw a snake, poisonous snake. Okay, and this was looking at him, smiling. All right? Don't know lah. But anyway, he looked down. He's in danger there from the snake. He's in danger there. On top of that, he saw two rats, one black, one white. Okay, eating the vine. Okay, so he stuck there, and the elephant waiting behind him. What does he do? He said, habis. Okay? No, he didn't say habis. He was not Malay. He said pochi. And then while he was saying that, just then, because he was shaking the beehive, the honey began to drop. When the honey began to drop, it dropped on his mouth. And he started enjoying the honey. And he forgot the dangers. The three dangers he forgot. A monk comes along and looks at his problem and tells the guy, brother, you are in great danger. Come, let me help you. All right? And this guy got very angry with the monk. Come on, you botak. Every time say, suffering. Nothing wrong with me. Leave me alone. Monk said, okay, went off. And this guy ate. Now, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is the white rat and the black rat is day and night. Every day you are going closer and closer to danger, which is death. All right? Which is death. The honey is the pleasures of life. All right? The elephant is also death. Waiting, disease, death, waiting. The snake is suffering. Right? Although you are completely surrounded by suffering from all sides, in all manner, you are in denial. You say, no, life is good. Life will continue to please our senses, enjoy our life. Along comes the Buddha and tells you about dukkha, and you chase the Buddha away. And you say, you always talk about negative. Okay? Give us something positive. Yeah? Because Buddhism doesn't promise you happiness just by praying. Practice, yes. Okay? So that was the just story time finished. Okay, now go back to sleep. The Buddha's view. The Buddha says, in spite of the fact that you may appear to be happy at the moment, things are not bad at all. Okay, our dollar is down, but never mind. See things as they really are. At the end of the day, the things that I told you about, the well, the snake, and all of that, they are all the time in the background, waiting. See things, be alerted to the reality of dukkha. Praying is not the answer. According to Buddhism, praying is not the answer. It's a temporary relief, yes, but not the answer. It's the first suffering is Vijaya. The second noble truth, we have to understand, we have to accept, we were in denial, we have to accept that dukkha, accept that our existence is contemptible, emptiness. Do you accept that? And the purpose of Dhamma talks and all of that is to tell you how the Buddha explained this for the first time in human history. That there is an alternative to prayer. There's an alternative to God. There's a way in which we can ourselves support our own happiness. How we can remain as a solid rock. Yeah, when we are being bombarded on all sides. Okay, then he talks about the noble truth of dukkha. How that dukkha arises is not arise as punishment from God. It is not God taking revenge on you. This is the way things are. This dukkha arises and we don't know it because we don't know how the world operates. Because we don't know how the Dhamma operates, we pray. Yeah, we pray for happiness. The Buddha says there's another way out. There is another way. There's suffering. When you understand the cause of suffering, which is ignorance, not knowing things as they really are. Yeah. If you convert, that's what we are here for. To convert ignorance into wisdom. Wisdom, see things as they really are. When we do that, then there is an end to this suffering. The Buddha, a lot of time people say Buddhism is a negative religion because it only talks about suffering. You know that. Yeah? There's the young man shaking his head, said, yeah, I also suffered. All right. Dhamma speakers come 2 hours, door locked, cannot escape. You suffer. And what do they talk about? Suffering, suffering, suffering. Okay? But that is not what Buddhism is all about. It's not about suffering. It's about the escape from suffering. So the third noble truth is, there is a way out. If there is suffering, there must be happiness. Okay, that's the third noble truth. Usually we stop at the second. Okay, Achancha, not Achancha, sorry, Thich Nhat Hanh, one of our great Buddhist thinkers, said our marketing is all wrong. And Reverend Ajahn Brahm says the same thing. All right, we start with suffering, suffering, suffering. So you all run away and go to the other place where they say, "Hallelujah, you are safe. You said yes to me." And you say, "Which would you prefer to go? Here is suffering, suffering. There you are safe." But Achancha says we should talk about nirvana first. We should say, Lord be praised. There is a thing called nirvana. You are free. It's happiness, happiness, happiness. By the way, there's a small thing called dukkha, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah? If we did that, a lot more Buddhists we will have. So we should talk about happiness first. So it should be third noble truth first. All right? And then, of course, the even more unpleasant one, you cannot buy it. You got to work for it yourself. You cannot tell the Buddha, I wear this yellow thread and now you look after me. Oh no, this yellow thread is not protection, please. Everybody wears this for protection. I challenge you, if it is protection, go to the middle of the road there, 10 tons truck coming, protection. It says, use your head, don't go to the road, step aside, use your eyes. You have to save yourself. Okay, but anyway, I'm getting lost. Okay, so and that's the way. That's the way. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. There's 3 steps to it. Sila, 5 precepts. Yeah? 5 precepts. You got to protect yourself. How do you protect yourself? With virtue. That is the easiest. But when you protect yourself with virtue alone is not enough. Every religion teaches you. Don't kill, don't steal, don't commit sexual misconduct, don't tell lies, don't take drugs. Which religion doesn't teach that? Yeah, a lot of people don't come for Dhamma talk, don't want to do anything. They say, oh, I am a good Buddhist, I don't need all of this. I don't kill, I don't steal, I don't commit sexual misconduct, I don't tell lies, I don't take drugs. Yeah? So I'm a good Buddhist. And I always tell him, yes, you don't kill, you don't steal, you don't commit sexual misconduct, you don't tell lies, you don't take drugs. Neither does my dog. My dog doesn't kill. My dog doesn't steal. Third one, never mind, he's a dog. Have you ever seen my dog smoking cigarettes? Who's better than you? Because you are manusya, that which has a mind to think. Once you have developed your virtue, you cannot stop there. That's only step 1. This is Buddhist teaching. You must develop the mind. The Buddha was once asked, summarize your teaching in 3 lines. Buddha said, no, 4 lines. No problem. Don't kill. Sorry? Avoid evil. Yeah. Do good. Purify the mind. Yeah. Avoid evil. Do good. Purify the mind. Avoid evil. Do good. Very easy. Very easy. Everybody does it. Purify the mind. That's the Buddhist path. Develop the wisdom. Understand why you are doing things. Don't kill. Don't kill because you are frightened of the Buddha. Don't kill because it is wrong to kill. Because you understand the animal doesn't like to die. You don't like to die, neither does anybody else. I don't like pain, I won't inflict pain. That is the wisdom that comes from developing your mind. So together with Buddha means the enlightened one, the one who can see things as they are. A Buddhist is somebody who's trying to understand and see things as they are. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. It does not simply mean this thread is just to remind me of my duties. Okay? All right. What are the dangers? What are we as human beings, past, present, and future, the Dhamma, will never be able, no government in the world can help us escape from this. Gain and loss, honor and dishonor, praise and blame, happiness and sorrow. Yeah, these are all the things that we are surrounded with. This is suffering. This is suffering. And our topic is, how do we stay firm? We stay firm with the understanding that this cannot go away. It's how we react to it. It's not that these things we cannot escape death, disease, old age. How do we react to it? And how do we find peace of mind in spite of this? Like the lotus flower, that is what Buddhism teaches us. Right? How to be happy in the face of danger. Not pray. Not pray. There is another way. Develop your understanding. The story that goes with the bird and the waterfall is, once upon a time there was a king who had not much to do, obviously. So he decided to have an art competition. So he said the art competition should be, somebody should paint for me a drawing which represents happiness. Okay? So it went out and all the artists got to work and they started painting and they sent in their works. Some painted this beautiful sunsets, some painted a waterfall, some painted beautiful things, all that reject. All right? And he saw one. This showed a painting of a waterfall, but against this waterfall that was coming, rolling down from the cliff, yeah, dark sky of thunder, lightning, just about to break. All right, and it was gray. It was very foreboding, very frightening. And the king said, "This is the painting." Everybody thought our king has gone mad. You know, how can this be a painting on happiness when he rejected all of this? The king said, look carefully. Look at the waterfall. Yeah. And near the waterfall, in the cliff, near the rock, there is a branch of a tree. Look at the branch of the tree. There is a nest. And in the nest, you can see a bird. Yeah. Looking after its eggs. Yeah. That is peace. That is happiness. In spite of all the danger around, the bird is completely safe because it doesn't care about what is happening around it. It's only in its sarang. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang. Sarang means refuge. So the bird feels protected. You cannot change all these workings of nature. That's all the danger. The danger is not escaping from all of this, but being immune to all of this. That is the secret in Buddhism. You don't run away from danger. You understand the nature of danger and you react to it positively. Better word, dispassionately. Okay? Right, so that's the story of the bird and waterfall. Half of you will go off, ask you, did you follow the Dhamma Talk? Yeah. What, the bird one? The bird one, I remember. Oh, okay. Okay. 8 winds of change. We try to, this is the problem with the modern world. This is the problem with the post-industrial era. Everything we feel can be fixed with a plier and a screwdriver. All right? We try to eliminate specific problems with specific actions. All right? We're going through it now. We're going through an economic downturn. We're going through so many problems, and we are doing one on. Okay? But independent origination, this is the center of Buddhist teaching. There is no single cause. You stop this does not mean you stop everything. Yeah. When faced with a problem, remove the cause, not the symptom. Understand that? All right. And you don't get out of one problem, you got to get rid of the whole problem. So if you have individual problems of suffering, no. What is our major problem? We are born in samsara. And why are you born in samsara? Because you were born. You want to escape samsara? Easy. Don't get born. Cannot. Can. When you die, there is rebirth. And the Buddha teaches us the way to escape rebirth. Nirvana. Okay? And so this is the way we... So work at the cause. Don't work at the symptom. Okay? Beautiful lines from the Buddha. They go to many, they is all of us, people who pray. They go to many a refuge, all the religions of the world, including Buddhism. Yeah, to mountains and forests, to park and tree shrines. Yeah, people threatened with danger. That is not the secure refuge. Going to this Batu caves, going to this place there, praying here, praying there, this kramat here, that kramat there, yeah, wearing this, yeah. That is not the refuge, not the supreme refuge. That's not the refuge. Having gone to which you get release from all the suffering. Earlier we said, get rid of the cause. Don't worry about the symptom. We are worrying about the symptom by saying we go to all these places and pray for relief. And the Buddha says, but when having gone to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, remember Saranang, refuge, you see with right discernment, you see suffering. When you see suffering, you see, yes, there is this cancer. You see it's painful. Don't talk only about suffering from cancer. Talk about poverty. Talk about hunger. All of these, we don't immediately try and repeat. The final escape with right discernment, the final escape is through not being born. That's panya. That's doing the Eightfold Path. You go to the Eightfold Path to escape from rebirth. That is the final goal. Okay? The Four Noble Truths, stress. Stress is dukkha. The cause of stress, the transcending of stress, the Noble Eightfold Path, the way to stilling the stress. That is the secure refuge. Not praying, but action. And that action, the Buddha presents to us in three ways. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Develop your personal purity, your virtue, strengthen your virtue. When your virtue is strengthened, you can develop the mind. One way of developing the mind, meditation, of course. Okay, but applying your intelligence, your manusya. Manusya comes from the word mano, usha. Mano, mind. Usha, develop. You are manusya because you have a mind which can be developed. Now remember the dog? The dog has virtue, but the dog doesn't have the mind to develop that. That's where you become different from the dog. Otherwise, you can share his collar. Right? That's the secure refuge. That is the supreme refuge. That is the refuge having gone to which you get release from suffering and stress. How to escape suffering and stress? Noble Eightfold Path. Okay? What do we need to understand? What is our place in the, samsara is going around and we don't have time today to explain this picture. Is there a picture? No, it's coming. Sorry. That's the picture. Okay? But we have no time to explain that. But what, okay, why don't we? Okay. This picture is samsara. That handsome guy that's around there, he's holding on to a wheel. What is the wheel? Samsara, going round and round. As you go round and round, you can be born in 6 possible existences. Higher up as gods. Higher up as gods. I mean, we believe it or not, guys. This is something we don't market enough. You can don't go to heaven. Be a god in heaven. I give you. Be a god in heaven. See how many people come and join us. Okay. But that's not all. There are all the different ways. You can be born in hell. You can be born as a human being. You can be born as a hell being. 6 possible directions, all of which is suffering. To us, rebirth in heaven is a suffering because you will die there as well. That's the Dharma. That's the Dharma. Okay? How do you escape all of this? By destroying samsara. How do you destroy samsara? It's something that happens in the mind. You are manusya, develop that mind. Okay? Otherwise, you'll be born as an animal. And you will lose this opportunity that you have once in your lifetime. Okay? Now I love this next line. Life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Beautiful lines. Absolutely beautiful. Okay? About how to survive, but to dance in the rain. Now, Achancha. All our suffering happens in the mind. Everything that happens to us happens in the mind. The same thing to some people can bring happiness. That same thing can bring suffering. Climbing up a mountain. Some people enjoy the exertion that is needed to climb the mountain. Some people will suffer if they have to do it. If I have to operate a laptop, that's suffering. When Disheng does it, it's happiness for him. Okay, when I do it, I give it to Disheng. I give you happiness. Okay. But it's all in the mind. It's all the attitude that you have. It's how you choose to look at things. Do you look at it as a challenge or do you look at it as an opportunity? It's yours. Just struck me, so I'll share it with you. There was this guy, nothing to do with my Dhamma talk. Buy one, free one. Long ago, I read this magazine. Yeah, and this guy is writing to a Sifu. It's in English, but the Sifu is Chinese, Mahayana. And he says, Sifu, I am having endless problems in my marriage. My wife is terrible. She just tortures me day and night. I'm so fed up of her. I don't know what to do. I want to kill her, but got 5 precepts. Have you got any advice for me? The Sifu writes back. This is because you see her as your wife. Yeah? And as a wife, you want to challenge her and she wants you and you get her. No, next time she comes to you, see her as Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin coming, yeah, to teach you patience, tolerance, understanding. So next time she comes, say, hello, Kuan Yin. It's a matter of perception. It's a matter of perception. So what happens in the mind? It's beautiful. I have 55 years, I'm married, it worked. Okay. This mind of ours is already unmoving and graceful, really peaceful. This mind in its original state. Please remember that. Like a glass of water. Yeah. When the water is undisturbed, all right, it's perfectly pure and peaceful. Like a leaf which is still so long as no wind blows. The leaf is still so long as no wind blows. If a wind comes up, the leaf flutters. The fluttering is due to the wind. The fluttering is due to those sense impressions. Eye, ear, nose, everything. You allow all of these to come in. You open the doors, right? The fluttering is due to the sense impressions. The mind follows them. If it doesn't follow them, it doesn't flutter. My advice is look but do not see. Hear but do not listen. Eat but do not taste. If you can do that, you are perfect. What time for story? This time, welcome to Sri Lanka. There was a husband and wife. They were quarreling. So if you quarrel with your husband, don't worry. Everybody in the world does it. Yeah. So anyway, he and his wife had a big quarrel. The wife was so angry. They were living in a village, a remote village, and she banged the door. She left him, and she ran out of the door to go to the village. You had to go through the jungle to get to the village. On the way, she met a monk. This monk was an arahant, and he was meditating. All right? And as he was meditating, she was furious. But she saw the monk, and all her anger went away. She smiled at the monk, and she continued. Husband, now quite worried, ran after her. There's only one road to the village. He took the same road. He met this monk. And he said, Venerable Sir, did you see my wife passing by? The monk said, no. What? You didn't see my... Do you see a cow passing by? Not much difference. Did you say, no, I didn't see her. The guy said, come on, you are bluffing. There's only one. She must have gone away. I'm going to beat you up. The monk said, wait. Before you beat me up, I think, yes. I saw a bag of bones. I saw a bag of bones passing by with teeth. That's all I saw. What is it? He was an arahant. He didn't see a woman. He saw the inner being. The smile he saw only as a teeth. He saw, but he didn't look. He didn't say, hey, you fought with your husband. I know lah, I can. No, nothing. She went past. Can we do the same thing? Okay? It's sense impressions. If it doesn't follow, it doesn't flutter. Don't allow all these things to come in. That's the danger. That's what our problem is. We don't know how to filter that which is wrong. We react too fast, which is why in Buddhism we say you need to develop meditation. Meditation teaches you to slow down. Meditation teaches you to count 10 before you react. Our Western civilization has taught us immediate reaction. Okay, North Korea sends a ballistic missile, Russia cannot stop. That's the danger. Okay, right. If we know the true nature of sense impressions, eye, ear, nose, touch, these are the sense impressions which we allow to open the door and affect us. If we know this, we will learn the art. That's how we remain firm as a solid rock. And this is all, the leaf is also like the solid rock. It does not move so long as there is no wind. But the wind comes and it flutters. How to end suffering? Without the discipline of guarding the mind, what is the use of any other discipline? Think about that. That's 3 hours worth of thinking. Okay? Without the discipline of guarding the mind, what is the use of any other? Remember we talked about praying, we talked about God, we talked about how asking everybody to help. No, guard your mind. That's where God is. That's what God is. Turbulent water. This is another beautiful line. All of the hindrances, desire, anger, sloth and torpor, restlessness, doubt, they are mental factors. Don't blame the world about all of this disturbing you. Don't allow the disturbance. Don't allow it to arise. But not to allow, recognize. To recognize, you need time. A split second. Because somebody opening the door, walking in, and your enemy comes in and you whack him. Split second before that, and he comes in, he's an enemy, but I do not treat him as an enemy. I am going to practice metta. That takes split second. Takes a long time. Remember Nalagiri, the elephant that went wild, that came to attack the Buddha? And how did the Buddha, Venerable Ananda wanted to jump in front and sacrifice himself. Buddha stopped him for a very important reason. Because Ananda didn't have the speed to turn on metta. Buddha had perfected that. So when Nalagiri came rushing at him, the Buddha was on, just like that, able to turn on 10,000 TNT of metta. So you don't try all that, okay? Okay? You develop your time to end. Oh, sorry, you forgot all of that. Okay. They are not self. All those sense impressions, they are not self. Just impersonal factors functioning in their own way. That is the Dhamma. Dhammo have rakkati dhammacharim. Those who live by the Dhamma, they are protected by the Dhamma. What is the Dhamma? Everything that happens around you. When you accept that, you understand the working notice, understand. Not pray. When I started teaching 50, 60 years ago, I was in Kelantan, and all these little boys had no English whatsoever. I was teaching them English. So I started by teaching them, stand, I am standing. Sit, I am sitting. Stand, I am standing. Sit, do you understand? I am standing. Those guys are now 70 years old. What is mind? Very fast. Mind is not an object, but an awareness which allows objects to arise. Mind, all right? If I open this, if I show this to you, some of you will see coffee. Some of you will feel thirsty. Others who are allergic to coffee will see a sleepless night. It's the same thing with your reaction. Okay? Right. What is mind? It is a phenomenon that is not body, not substantial, has no form, no color, but the mirror can reflect objects. It's a mirror. So you need to keep that mirror clean, polish, and reflect correctly. Okay? Mind is all. I'm coming to the end. The mind is the key to happiness and also the key to misery. To understand the mind and to use it well is a task that transcends racial, cultural, and religious barriers. Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is a way of life. And we mean it in every sense of the word. If the Buddha came down today and saw what a mess we made of his teaching, he'll be quite shocked. First thing he will ask is, hey, you guys talk about Mahayana, Theravada, Vajrayana. What is all that? Huh? Buddha will ask you, because he never taught that. This is what I look like. Why my ear so funny? What the bonjol on my head? I Bahia. Think about that. Meditation can indeed be practiced by anyone, regardless of the religious label. Very important to understand that. Okay? Power of the mind, I think we should stop. All the phenomena have mind as their precursor, mind as their supreme leader. That's the first verse of the Dhammapada. Mind is the forerunner of all states. If one thinks with a pure mind, pure actions follow. If one thinks with a defiled mind, defiled actions must follow. So don't clean the action, clean the mind. That is our job. May you all be well and happy.